the Just In Case podcast with your hosts, Mike and Mike, driven by passion, defined by quality.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Just In Case podcast. I am your host, Mike, and I am here with the other Mike.
What's up, everyone? How's everyone been?
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We are very excited to have, I would consider this company a friend of ours at this point because we've done so much business with them. We have Vinny Nadeau here from Marcone. He is the Northeast General Manager for Sales. Vinny, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We're very excited to kind of dive into the parts realm with you a little bit. You know, it's such a huge part of the industry. Without you guys, we wouldn't be fixing anything.
Yeah.
So,
Very convenient to have you guys right up the road, I'm going to tell you.
yeah, so that's something that we try to hone in on the podcast is we try to explain to some of our listeners that basically we're a little spoiled in the sense that we have a Marcone. I don't know if is it considered a warehouse? What do you guys consider that in Hauppauge?
It's a branch.
A branch.
Yeah,
we have a
branch.
branch very close to us. It's about 15, 20 minutes away, and we could always stop in there and pick up parts. And shout out to the crew there, Alan and Debbie and Hauppauge.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
They do a lot for us, and we're happy to be part of the Marcone ecosystem, if you will, and use them as much as we can. So that's awesome. Vinny, if you want to talk about a little bit of your Marcone life.
Experience, life.
We know you've been there for 15 years, and if you want to kind of, you know, start, where'd you start off within Marcone and kind of how you ended up to where you are now?
Sure. Well, I started in a branch in Hartford, Connecticut. We used to have a branch there. It's actually closed since I was there. I worked there for like 3 or 4 years, and then I went into the sales side, outside sales. And at one point, I was also in charge of the branches in the Northeast, all of the branches in the Northeast, and then eventually got promoted to general manager. And now I oversee the sales team in the Northeast, and that's about it.
Are you cultivating relationships like directly with manufacturers? Is that something that's in your wheelhouse, or is that more on like a senior role within the company?
Yeah,
How does that work out?
I don't really deal with the manufacturers directly too much.
Okay.
I do have relationships with some of the manufacturers. Our rep from GE, I know pretty well. I've gotten to know him pretty well. I know a couple people from Frigidaire, but usually the senior management of the company, the CEO and vice president or president of parts does most of that, manages those relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, you know, in our opinion, in my opinion, you guys have such a broad amount of parts. I mean,
a lot.
You know, we do a lot of high-end work, and it's nice to see that, like, you guys have Viking stuff on there, Middleby.
Yeah.
You know, which is a huge plus for us. And one of the big sticking points, and we were talking about this off camera, was the turnaround time.
Yeah.
You know, we're very happy with where you guys have gone in terms of shipping. Yeah, the rates went up a little bit, but they went up everywhere, so it is what it is. That being said, I have noticed, though, we're getting a lot more FedEx packages as opposed to UPS. I don't know why, but
They changed that?
Yeah, they did. We made, you know, a good deal with FedEx to get better rates, to keep our rates down for you guys.
Right.
Because obviously the cost of shipping is not going away.
No,
It's
unfortunately not.
just going up. And, you know, 10 years ago, almost everybody got free shipping.
Yeah.
You spend $100, you get free shipping.
Yep.
We can't afford to do that anymore.
Of course not.
Because the rates have just gone, you know, they're 10 times what they were then.
You guys are considered flat rate shipping, right? I mean, is that really kind of where you're at?
That's what we do with most of our customers have flat rate shipping.
Yeah.
It's, you know, keeps it reasonable, keeps it manageable for you because you're going to know what your cost is regardless of what you order. It's going to be whatever it is.
Yep.
You know, and every market and every area, every customer has different rates because, you know, people will ask me that, well, how come, you know, this guy lives, you know, in a he has a commercial building versus you who has you work out of your house.
Right.
Yeah.
So the rates are higher to ship to residential.
Right.
So that's why some people's rates are higher than others.
Yeah.
Our goal is to not lose money on shipping. Ultimately, it's to break even,
Right.
so that it's not an extra expense for anybody.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the way it should be, man.
We
It's
have
much
some
easier.
companies, no names mentioned, that they have I would almost consider it like a sliding scale or a percentage of your order. And I can't, sometimes we check out and I'm like, this can't be correct. This cannot be. Sometimes it's like a third of the price of the part almost.
it's crazy, man.
Really mind blowing.
I don't know how people get away
I
with
feel like
that.
we're getting robbed in those scenarios.
Sure. Highway robbery.
But either way, we're happy with the flat rate. And on that same kind of trajectory, something that we've talked about a few minutes ago, and me and Mike are massive advocates for, is the DoorDash feature.
Amazing.
I remember speaking to, I think it was Alan at the branch when they first relaunched that branch in that location.
Yeah.
And I said, is anyone else using it? And he's like, as of right now, it's really just you guys. And I'm like,
That's
really?
crazy. I don't understand why. Because
I mean,
it's
I'm sure
such a
that's changed
great
now.
thing. Yeah,
It's had to have
it
changed
has
by
to.
now. But I mean, we're placing DoorDash orders very frequently.
Sure.
Very frequently. How did you guys come to that? I mean,
I'm not sure how it started. It was something that was directed by corporate, and they obviously negotiated rates with them, and so they could work it out. And if you're within 25 miles of a branch, if you're not taking advantage of it, you're foolish.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah.
It's
That being said, and just for our listeners, just to kind of bring you up to speed, there are times where we're looking at a part, and it has most of the parts are next day from Marcone, if not a day after, but we get them relatively quickly. If we're using the DoorDash feature, sometimes for literally pennies more,
it's not
we can have it the same day.
much of a difference at all.
And
you get that customer taken care of.
not
and
for
you have the
nothing
part.
though, pass that cost on to the customer either way, right?
Right.
Because
That's
they
what we
want
do. You
that's
have
what we
to.
do, and
they want it fixed right away.
Exactly.
100%.
Hey, for $20 extra, I could fix it today,
Yeah.
or I could come back tomorrow.
This-
I'll pay the
This
$20.
week- He was at a call. I DoorDashed a part directly to him at that call. And that's what we like about it. And the customers are usually like, you can get that part now, and we're like, it's on the way.
Delivered right now.
Yep. And it, let's say it's a washer bellow. He's taking apart the unit, and by the time he gets to the part of installing parts there,
Yeah.
so it's a huge,
Pretty fast.
It's a pretty great feature that I think more people should be using.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers on that. Obviously, I don't work for Marcone, but I think that they should be definitely going up.
Yeah.
Those
Is
numbers
that
should be
something you
going
guys
up.
are promoting? Let people know. Like,
I mean,
hey,
it's on
we
their
have
website. It's
DoorDash?
right there on the website.
Yeah, it really.
I don't see why
it's
people wouldn't be using
an
it.
option at ship out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if like I said, if you're within 25 miles of a branch,
Yeah.
That's gonna get shared.
you're crazy not to take
Is that what
advantage
the
of it.
cutoff is? 25 miles?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it'll vary by market.
I'm sure.
In New York City,
Yeah.
25 miles is 3 hours.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
versus
Yeah.
Exactly.
out here where
Yeah.
it's a reasonable
And also,
amount of
obviously,
time.
depending where DoorDash is, I'm sure it's not everywhere in the country. There's
Right.
rural
there
areas
has to be
that
a
may not be.
available. There
Yeah.
has to be areas.
Luckily for us,
Yeah.
Uber, DoorDash, all that stuff over here, they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere.
We're lucky to have Marcone right by us and do that, man.
Yeah. Oh
crazy,
yeah.
the
And
parts we can
also that being said, they have a lockbox, I guess you would consider it. They have 24-hour access there, right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
So they have an app basically. Marcone has an app that you can get. I think it's called Verkada, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You set up an app with the branch, and it basically gives you after-hours access. So let's say you're stuck on a call, you know the part that you need, you order it, the branch personnel can take that part, put it in a locker, and you can go after hours and pick it up.
Yeah, if you need it for a Saturday or anything.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because the Verkada app basically detects when you're near the door, and it'll open the door, you go in, put your combination in the locker, and grab it and go.
Even if you guys have any core parts or return parts, you can go there when they're closed and just throw it in the box.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
that's what.
So
they
you can do
told me, yeah.
returns through the box.
As long as you have it returned already from what Alan told me.
Oh,
you
just put the slip in there?
Yeah, if you do the return online
Oh.
for core parts and you go there, supposedly you can drop it off.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize that.
That's what he told me.
Yeah, I didn't realize
I
that.
haven't used that part yet.
Bring it with the REA.
Yeah, right. That's what we
Yeah, that's what
normally
you
do.
leave, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, be
That's
careful
interesting.
because otherwise people will just be leaving stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
We won't know who it's from or where.
That would definitely be a mess for you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, so we love those features. If you want to talk a little bit about Service Yoda, you may not be too well versed in it. I've recently just started poking around on it.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty cool feature to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very specific to model, so you have to really make sure you have the right variant and all that stuff in terms of the model number. But it gives you. I even looked an LG up today on there, and it gives you a picture of the unit on a pedestal, off a pedestal, the wattage, the operational like parameters of it. It's pretty insane actually, the power that tool has. If you want to kind of talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, I'm still learning about it myself, but basically what they do, the company's called Bruviti that manages it, and what they do is basically they scrub the internet for any information. If you put in a model number, they scrub the internet to get any data they can find about that model number, whether it's tech sheets or service bulletins, anything related to that model. They're going to find that information and have it available to
Pretty
you.
cool.
And essentially anybody can one tech can sign up for it for free.
Yep.
You can't beat that.
No, not at all.
And then, if you have multiple techs, you might have to pay more, $8 a month or something silly
it's
like
nothing
that
at
for
the end of the day.
No, ultimately, if you use it,
Yep.
I'd pay $8 all day, every day for, that type of information available to me. But,
Yeah, my goal is to. I'm going to take a couple of screenshots of that, and we'll put it up on the podcast, so people can see kind of what we're talking about. But I mean,
So what is it basically? You just if you're having issues with something, you put the model number in, and it comes up with.
It will do that too.
Really?
So there's a couple different options basically. The first option is you can put it in, and it'll pull up like a service manual. It'll pull up diagrams and all that stuff. And then there's another option where you can put in a symptom, and it'll tell you the possibility of what's causing it. And I think even part numbers, which is obviously very beneficial to Marcone.
Yeah.
It will tell you the part number that's most likely to fix that problem.
Exactly.
It'll tell you, every time somebody complains about a washing machine, draining a drain issue,
Yeah.
it'll tell you, okay, well,
Check this,
45%
check
of the time,
It's a drain pump.
it's a drain pump, or whatever, and it'll come up with, and then it'll even tell you the model or the part number for that.
it's
Most of the
pretty
time
cool.
it's this.
I really do believe in AI. I can't even say it's the wave of the future anymore because it's here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's
here.
here.
And I think that it's going to be really beneficial for newer techs getting into the industry. But also, I think it's going to be good for the older techs to kind of hone in on their skills a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to shy away from like the newer technology,
That's
especially
what I
the
was going
older
to say.
generation.
A lot of the older people,
They don't want.
they're used to the mechanical stuff, not the
Exactly.
electronics. So
Exactly.
And
it
that's what
helps
we're
them.
coming into this world. Everything's becoming that.
You have to evolve with the industry.
Sure.
And we talk about that all the time because it's so important. And I don't know if everyone's doing it as much as they should be. Something that is kind of newer to us is Smart HQ by GE.
Yeah.
That
Just started
device. I
using
mean, we've
that.
ordered 3 from you guys
Have
in
ya?
the past
Yeah, it's
month.
amazing.
Yeah.
I
incredible.
cannot believe the power that has. We took a class on it down in Asti in Orlando.
Did you?
And we were like, we're buying this.
Yeah.
At first, we knew about it, but we didn't realize if it was worth the money or not because we never really took it for a test spin.
Yeah.
But when we were down in Orlando and we took it was about an hour and a half course on it, and they were showing us all the capabilities right there, live in action of what this thing could do. I said, Mike, we got to buy one. We're all getting one.
Was Juan Morales? Was he,
Yeah,
is he-
Juan
Yes,
Morales.
yes, it was him.
Yeah, Juan
Yeah.
Morales.
He'll
was
be
there.
at our convention.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Showing it off.
What a tool. I've
lot of
used
power
it.
behind
I've
that
used it a
thing,
couple of times, and it's really mind blowing what that
Yeah.
thing can do. And just it's so easy to use.
Yep.
The versatility, the ease of use is just it's through the roof.
If anybody who works on GE doesn't have that, it's
Absolutely. We don't do a ton of GE, but I
But
was like-
lately, it's been seen like we are.
yeah,
it's
we've been
crazy.
seeing, yeah, we
We're
have
getting a
been
lot
seeing
more.
it more, which is good for us because we really get to use the tool.
Yeah.
Which,
Sure.
it's not just being thrown around in the bag.
No.
So let's talk about the convention a little bit. So we were first-time attendees at ASTI, which was down in Orlando by UASA, and we loved it. It was a fantastic event. We learned a lot. We networked with a lot of people, came home that week, and we ended up signing on with new services for 3 or 4 different companies.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we did it was well worth the money for us.
Sure.
We do want to go to your guys' convention. Unfortunately, this year it might be a little hard for us due to timing.
Sure.
Yeah.
But talk about that a little bit. I'd like to get a little inside information.
Yeah, what
on
it's
it.
about, what goes on there.
Well, I've never been to ASTI, so I can't compare it. But I know people who've gone to both, and
Yep.
and ours have always gotten rave reviews.
Good.
All the manufacturers will be there. They'll have booths, so you can talk to them. Plus, there's training classes through the roof on all sorts of different appliances, as well as business-related classes.
Yep.
And a lot of our partners, Marcone Service Association (MSA), has a lot of partners that people use or have interest in. Like, there's a company called Just Press One. They have
They were there in ASTI too.
where they
Yeah.
so they they offer the ability to do a lot of customer service tasks that
Yep.
you may not want to do yourself,
Right.
or you want help with, or filing warranty claims, and there's companies that'll do all the things that other people you might hire other people to do,
Right.
that you could save that expense if you wanted to.
It's in Vegas, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's March 18th to 21st. And it'll be, it'll probably be 500 to 700 people there.
Wow.
Attendees,
crazy, man.
plus, 20 or so manufacturers. And like I said, a lot of different business. There's a guy named Dean Landers. He ran a service company in Baltimore area for forever. He'll be there, and he has a class that he'll do on customer service skills.
Yep.
It's teaching, soft skills and things like
Yeah,
that. Things that some people might not be great at. I know a lot of really good techs that aren't great business people because they never learned it, or they either by choice or by but so they go to Dean Landers, and he teaches them, hey, here's some soft skills to help you manage your customers a little bit better.
Yeah, that's
Something,
great.
And there's just an amazing
You guys
amount
do
of,
like giveaways and stuff like that? Is that all
of
part
course,
of it?
there'll be,
Yeah.
yeah. Plus, we have some incredible speakers. We have Frank Abagnale. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Catch Me If You Can
Yes.
with Tom Hanks
Yep.
and Leo DiCaprio. He's the guy that movie was about.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to be a guest speaker at
Wow.
the show.
I love that movie,
It
actually.
was a great movie.
It is a great movie.
And he's the guy that ripped off everybody
Yeah.
and ended up working for the FBI. And
Yep.
so I don't know what he's going to talk about. I imagine.
Yeah, but that's
part of that.
I think that's a pretty good speaker to have in
Yeah.
an event for sure.
Yep, he'll be there. It's just an incredible amount of information that I always tell people, ask me who should go to this, and I say, well, I would say owners of companies, service managers, or like a lead tech
You're right.
type, somebody who can gather the information and
Yeah,
bring
exactly.
it
Yeah.
back. Those are the people I would recommend to go.
Yeah, I
you know?
mean, we've talked about, like I said, it was our first time going to ASTI, but when we came back, we said, listen, if we ever go to an event like this again, it'd be nice to have our office manager go with one of us, maybe even a CSR at one point or another, just because there are some basic skills that they can learn by attending some of those classes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's
So-
so much going on there. It's hard to be able to get everything done.
We got home and we were exhausted. So I'm sure
it's
I'm sure
overwhelming.
MSA is the same type of scenario.
Sure.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, good. I hope our listeners can make it to that. Remember, it's March 18th to the 21st.
Yeah.
Don't forget to
Definitely
like,
check it
subscribe,
out.
and share to the channel, please.
Yes.
So you guys are located in St. Louis. Give us a little bit of the background of Marcone as a business and kind of where they're headed to now. I know there have been some changes in terms of
Been around
acquisitions.
for a while.
Sure.
So if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Well, I think they started in a garage in 1932, like Apple did.
Yeah, everyone.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
You? There you go.
One day we'll have a story.
Yeah. And it's grown and spread throughout the country, obviously. At the peak, I think we had 70 or 80 different branches. I think they've right-sized a little bit now. Now we're in the mid-40 range of appliance parts branches. But in the last couple of years, we've also purchased a plumbing supplier and a bunch of HVAC companies throughout the country.
HVAC, you mean like distribution parts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, parts distributors. And also, I mean, they sell equipment too, but only in very defined territories.
Right.
So I can't sell you a condenser unit here.
Right.
You have to go to near one of our branches to get one of those.
Yep.
Because we have another 80 or something HVAC branches.
Wow.
So yeah, it's huge. One of the big ones is in Connecticut, called Bell Simons. They're a big company that they have 32 branches, I think, and
All in Connecticut or across the country?
no, in the Northeast,
Oh, okay,
Connecticut,
okay.
New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island, and they have. So they're the biggest one that we took over,
Right.
And another one in Midwest called Munch Supply. They're a really big one too. And Munch Supply basically acquired all these other branches, and then we bought Munch Supply, or merged with. I don't know what the terminology.
Sure,
is.
sure.
We joined
That's
with them.
beyond all of us.
Yeah. But we're actually changing the name of the company. The parent company is no longer. The appliance side will still be Marcone,
Right.
Yeah.
Marcone Appliance Parts, but our parent company is going to be called M Supply going forward. So
Yeah.
if you start to see that logo around,
Yeah, that's
you'll
what it
understand why.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything in like in the Long Island area where we're located that's HVAC related or no?
No. Stuff, 9 miles away in Bridgeport, we got a.
Yeah, just a ferry right away.
That's all it is.
But no, we don't. We actually do have one in New York, up in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
That'd be the closest one in New York
Yeah.
Right.
that you have access to. But
Yeah.
it'd be closer to go to Bridgeport.
Yeah, right.
Basically,
Go right
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing we were talking about earlier too is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. I mean, we like a lot of specialty tools.
Yeah.
We like using like Appian and Fieldpiece and Elitech and that stuff that is on the higher end side in our industry in terms of appliances. And I know you guys said maybe futuristically you're going to start carrying some of that stuff. So I think that's going to be cool, especially for appliances. I mean, no one ever really thinks about using gauges and scales and appliances. People always think of like washers, dryers.
Yeah.
That's all they think about. They don't realize that we do refrigeration. We hold
Exactly.
refrigeration licenses. We
Right.
buy Freon. We have to be certified by the state and the feds and all that good stuff. So it's going to be cool. Hopefully, eventually Marcone moves a little more in that direction. We can buy some.
Go there, get some tools.
buy
it's
some
nice.
tools. Yeah, so we go to a local supply house here that has basically everything right there
Yeah.
on the shelf, and we can pick it up and get it.
Sure.
And I think futuristically, it sounds to me like Marcone's gonna head in that direction a little bit, just based off of the acquisitions that you guys have made in the
Yeah.
HVAC industry. Because a lot of that stuff is really what we use is HVAC
Exactly.
related.
Sure.
It's not really appliance related.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be available. Anything that's not currently, I'm sure
Right.
down the road it will be once we get all of our systems aligned.
Of course, yeah, it takes time. I mean, anytime you're merging or acquiring companies, it's a big undertaking with a lot of logistics and all
Yep.
that good stuff. So I get it. I completely understand. I have a question about, and I don't mean to catch you off guard. If you don't know, it's okay. So when we were down in Asti, you guys had a huge booth there, and they were handing out these flyers basically about having your own dedicated parts sales line
Yes.
linked to your business.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you can talk about that, we've discussed it a little bit,
Sure.
and I don't know too much about it, so I'd like to hear a little more. If you
Yeah,
know.
so it's called My Parts Center. That's what we call it on our end. And basically what we do is we give you an 800 number
No.
that you can then advertise, give out to your customers. And then when they call that number, we answer the phone, JIC appliance car.
That's pretty cool.
what parts can I get you today? And then we'll look up their parts or whatever. And if we make any sales based on that, then you get a percentage of any of the sales that we
Part
make.
sales.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. If you're not selling parts on your own today,
Yeah.
I don't know why you're not doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I have one concern.
Hmm?
We up our parts.
Yeah.
So how
most
does
people.
yeah, right.
They
because-
pay retail.
Oh, they're paying retail.
They're paying the MSRP that's on our website. So
Got
Not
it.
what we pay. Okay.
Yeah, okay,
they
good.
wouldn't pay the same as you.
That would be my biggest concern in terms of that. But all right, that's good to know. That is good to know. We've discussed it. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, there's like a setup fee, right? It's like $150 or something like that, right? To get the number all set up and all that. And then after that, it might be a yearly, but it's nothing crazy.
There's no
either way.
yearly fee.
Oh, there's not a yearly
There's
fee.
a one-time setup fee.
And that's it?
And I'll be honest with you, the only reason we even do that is because we used to give it away.
Because you're acquiring a phone number, really.
Right.
Exactly.
But then people wouldn't advertise it, they wouldn't do anything
Right.
with it. So we're paying for this for
How
nothing.
long has this been around?
As long as I've been with Marcone.
Really?
This is crazy because we're just started hearing about it.
it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the marketing push is working because
Yeah.
now we know about it. But
Exactly.
before that, I didn't know anything about that.
Well,
at
you
all.
should.
We were trying
when,
to search
when you
and
set up
figure
your
out.
account. You should have gotten some information on it.
Yeah, we might have. Who knows?
I'm willing to bet you did.
Probably did.
You might be right. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't remember.
But in any case, it's
Nah,
a
it's
no-brainer
definitely-
for anybody who doesn't. If you sell parts over the counter, or you're
Yeah.
willing, if you're willing to have a person, then do that because you get 100% of the profit,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to a lesser.
Is it like a scale of?
No, it's
percent?
generally 15%.
It's a flat rate.
Yeah, if you get 15% of any profits for anything we sell,
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And how do you get paid out on that? Is it
credit
like-
your bill quarterly.
Oh, is that how they do it?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
I feel like Mike, that's like a no-brainer.
It really
It
is.
really is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe we just made the decision that we're going to be doing that. I
Yeah.
don't
So if someone calls you from us and they buy the part from you,
yep,
and they're gonna go put it, there's a warranty with that part from you guys too.
yep,
Everything like we would be.
yep.
Really.
So how
But
did
we handle all the returns if they don't need it.
So
for
we would-
Or
whatever.
if the
Let's say
part's
they-
wrong, they would call and you guys
they
take care of
they
it.
just call that number again and they
Yep.
redo
Say, hey, I
whatever,
just bought
whatever.
a part from
We
you.
send
They
them
got
an
one number.
REA or
Yeah.
whatever. And,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't know why people aren't doing that
No,
more.
everybody should do it.
Yeah.
If you don't have the ability, like I said, if you have the ability to sell it,
Yeah.
sell it direct.
We do get calls
But-
for it, so I mean,
We do get calls for part sales, and honestly, we shy away from it. Yeah, we're losing money. I don't think we're losing a lot of money,
nah, it's not.
it's just
But
it's not in our wheelhouse.
Here's what I tell everybody to do: go buy those magnets
Yep.
yeah.
and put your sales number, your parts number, your service number
Yeah.
on that magnet, and
Yeah.
leave it on every appliance that you buy or that you service.
Yeah.
If you go there to, if you're working on a refrigerator, you leave it on the
Yeah,
refrigerator.
service.
Service parts.
Parts.
Yep.
And then when they need a new water filter for their fridge,
Yeah.
instead of calling you, they're not going to call you to come install their water filter. Probably.
You'd be surprised.
Well, some
Yeah.
people
You'd be
might.
surprised the amount of people. that
but
go
no,
for
it's
that.
it's a minority for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
Yeah.
But you give them that number if they don't have it already. That if you haven't left it on their refrigerator, they call you. You say, "Oh, here's my parts line." You give them that number, and they call. And
I
hey,
mean, I'm
that's-
sure we could even set up on. We have I forget the name of it now, but anyway, you press 1 for this, 2 for that. We could probably set that up where we can say press 4 for parts,
absolutely
Yeah.
right to you
have it
guys.
forward
And
to
it
that
goes
number.
right to you guys. Yep. You set
So are
it
there
all up.
regular operating hours on the gnome, like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or
Yeah,
something like that?
well, it's extended because we have West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's basically from 8 a.m. till probably 8 or 9 p.m.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
It's actually better.
Any future plans of having a branch open on the weekends?
No.
No.
Well, you guys used to be open on Saturdays,
Yeah.
right?
Used to be open 8 to 12 on
And
Saturdays.
then you guys stop.
You know what? I came, like I said, I started in a branch.
Mm-hmm.
I would be sitting there twiddling my thumb or cleaning until 11 o'clock.
Right.
And then there'd be
Yeah.
a line out the door. So we said, all right, well, let's shift the hours a little bit. But
Right.
it was mostly retail people
Yep.
who you would spend 45 minutes with to sell them a $5 part.
Yeah.
We didn't make enough money on Saturday to keep the lights on, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's got to benefit.
The lights were more expensive.
Yeah, pros and cons.
sure.
Yeah.
And for the amount of, business that, mostly just shifted to Monday, it wasn't
Yeah.
worth,
Right.
because you can't get
To be
what we
honest,
sell anywhere else. So it's
No.
not like you can
Gonna go
you can
somewhere
go
else.
to
You're
You
gonna
have
have to
some
wait.
stuff.
Yeah, you
can
have
go
a
to Home
lock on the
Depot or
market.
whatever.
You have a lock on the
Yeah.
market, really. I mean, you're not going. You know, in terms of a brick and mortar store, there's nowhere else to go.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I mean, not
And they
many
make it so
services.
convenient.
Not many services are working on weekends either.
That's
we
the
are.
thing.
We do,
are,
but, yeah.
not everyone is doing that.
Right.
And we do it more or less as a convenience factor for some of our customers that
Sure.
work during the week.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so we always like to have that in our back pocket just to offer it to them. I'd much rather do that than lose a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just our business model. Not
Yeah,
everyone's
not
going to
everyone's
agree
gonna
with
do
that.
that.
Well, also,
No.
if you're doing that, you pre-screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So then-
big
Exactly.
time.
That's
Then
what
you go
we've
on
been doing that a
Friday,
lot.
you buy the stuff that you might need, and then return what you don't on Monday. You know what I mean?
exactly.
That's what most companies are doing anyway, some pre-screening. So-
Yeah, we're
It's a big thing.
We're huge in pre-qualifying parts here. I try to screen every single call and
Sure.
see
Yeah.
what we think it may be. And I gotta say the success rate for that is probably 75% of the time we're using the part,
Yeah, it's
which I
pretty
think
good.
is pretty good in my
That's,
opinion.
that's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a huge plus for us.
Yeah.
I have noticed also that Marcone has I don't know how to really explain it, but basically on on your website, and if I go to my account, I can pull up my top, I think 10 or 20 parts that we are ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also another great feature.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it's now it can kind of train you in on maybe a little more truck stock scenario
Seeing
or
what we're
inventory. Like
using
we have a
more,
little
ordering.
warehouse. So, you know, we try to stock stuff there. Like we always keep, 10 Frigidaire igniters in stock. Like we
Yeah,
always
sure.
have that because it's just an easy one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's another thing that Marcone's website has to offer that we're thrilled with.
And Marcone makes it very easy to return. Like if you don't
Oh.
use a part, man, I mean, I've never dealt with another company that gives you no hassle. If you
No.
don't use the part, you don't open it, and you want to return it, 1, 2, 3.
Customer
Sweet.
service wise, I have nothing but good things to say.
Especially over in Hop Hog, man, they're amazing over there. They
Yeah.
always help us
They're
out.
a great crew.
Yep.
And we want to be the company that it's easy to do business with.
Yeah.
That's our goal, is to make it easy to do business with us,
Yep.
easy to do returns,
Alan
easy
will
if
shoot
you have
me a text
issues.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, if we're getting something or something happened, he'll just shoot me a text to let me know.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That's-
the communication is
We
great
even
with
had
them.
it. I mean, he's reached out to us before where we he was under the impression it was like a double order, but it just so
Yeah.
happened to be that we ordered it twice
Yep.
and we door dashed it twice. It was
Oh.
two different customers.
so he
but
called you to make sure
He
it
wanted
was.
to make sure, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Awesome.
correct.
which is what I mean. Listen,
Alan's good.
it is. It's very important to have a good relationship with your parts people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You need them.
yeah, they need us and we need them.
Exactly.
Right, and it's like I say with a lot of things in this industry. Without you, there's no us, and without us, there's no
Exactly.
you. And I say that to the dealers.
Yeah.
We deal with some big dealers out here, and I tell them you can sell all the product in the world, but
Yeah.
if you don't have anyone to
You need that
service that
service to
product,
back it up.
it's
Yeah.
worth nothing in my
Yeah.
opinion.
They're not coming back here to buy it next
That's right.
time.
That's
No,
right.
You
So
didn't
exactly.
take care
we
of
have
them.
cultivated some really
Yep.
good relationships with dealers, and I'm happy to say that it's worked out for us.
Yeah, it has,
And our
100%.
business and our motto.
Yeah.
We're basically going to be wrapping it up in a few seconds here, but I wanted to ask you because there's always a misconception: is Marcone open to the public, or is it not?
Or is it not?
So I know you need to have an account if you're paying lower rate, not retail, basically, right?
Having a
Wholesale.
business.
Wholesale
yeah,
rate.
wholesale.
Yeah.
But if you want to go in there as a Joe Schmo off the street, you can pay retail rates and purchase parts.
Yes.
You can.
Really?
Yeah.
Has it always been like that, or that's something that just changed? 'Cause
No. Well, during COVID, we shut down the retail in the branches.
okay.
Because, one, they needed to be touched more.
Right.
You know, they needed constant handling.
Yeah,
they
sure.
needed more face to face
Yeah.
than you guys do, because you know what you need, you know what
Yeah,
you want for the most
absolutely.
part. They didn't.
Yep.
So they needed. So we directed them to our call centers, because again, we didn't want the face-to-face contact, both for our employees and for the customers.
Right.
You know, nobody wanted to be in front of anybody
anyone,
at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
So we kind of shut it down, and we haven't like fully blown open it up
Right.
Yeah.
again. But we will. If somebody comes in the door, we're not going to send them away.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
That's
But
good.
we don't advertise it. We don't really push it. One, because we have customers who can sell to them.
Right.
Yep.
So we don't want to take that business away from them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also, that the thing I mentioned earlier, where a customer, you spend 45 minutes with somebody to sell them a $5 part,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
where you guys are standing there in line waiting to buy $300 worth of parts.
Yeah.
we don't. You got to balance the scales.
Smart business would say,
So you kind of
bigger
gotta,
ticket.
Get away your options.
be
Yeah, that's
smart.
great. We've talked about this with other techs, and they were like, "You can't, people can't just go there. It's close to the public." I'm like, "Is it though? I don't think it is really close to the public because you can call Marcone and order a part as a Joe Schmo. You don't have to be, But that's good to know. I'm happy we cleared that up.
Yeah.
So, Mike, anything else you want to add?
No, that's about it,
Vinny,
man.
thanks so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
man,
we appreciate it.
my
Like we
pleasure.
said, we are huge advocates of Marcone.
Yes.
Guys, check out Marcone. We're
Yes,
going to tag
check
him in
him out.
this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on the video. And we will definitely
see you
be
on the
seeing you
next
guys on
one.
the next one.
Thank you for watching the Just In Case podcast. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.